So you're a small business owner, right? You pour everything you have into it, the early mornings, the late nights, that constant hustle. But then in those quiet moments, this one question just pops into your head and it cuts right through all the noise. And that question, man, it gets right to the heart of the whole journey, doesn't it? Are all these hours I'm putting in actually building something, or am I just spinning my wheels? And when you're deep in the day-to-day grind, telling the difference can feel almost impossible.
Okay, so in this explainer, we're going to tackle that uncertainty head on. First up, we'll talk about how to spot the difference between just being busy and actually moving forward. Then, we'll get into why seeing your progress is such a game changer. We'll look at some super simple tools you can start using, like today, show you how to go from guessing to gaining control, and then wrap it all up by talking about discipline and faithfulness.
All right, let's dive in. It is so easy to confuse just being busy with actually achieving something, right? But listen, there's a really simple way to cut through all that noise and see what's really going on with your business. And here it is, the most powerful habit for bringing clarity to all that chaos. It's not about working harder, not at all. It's about working smarter by tracking your progress visually. I'm telling you, the moment you go from just feeling how your business is doing to actually seeing it, that's when everything starts to change.
So why is that? Why is seeing your progress so much more powerful than just, thinking about it in your head? Well, it's pretty simple, really. It moves you away from these abstract feelings and into the world of concrete facts.
I mean, just look at this. It really says it all. When all those financial numbers are just swirling around in your head, it's heavy, it's vague, it's just this big tangled mess of stress. But the second you put them on a chart, they completely transform. They stop being this heavy weight and they start telling you a story. They become actual evidence. Yeah, exactly. A chart like this, it's not just a bunch of data points. It's proof. It's visible, undeniable evidence that all your hard work is paying off. You're not just hoping you're growing anymore. You can literally see it month after month. And that visual confirmation, wow, that is one powerful motivational boost. This whole idea, as practical as it is, actually echoes a really powerful ancient principle. It comes from the book of Habakkuk, and it says, write the vision and make it plain. And in a way, that's exactly what you're doing when you track your finances visually. You're making your business vision so plain, so clear, that it's impossible to ignore. Okay, so right about now, you might be thinking, this sounds great, but I'm no finance expert. And hey, I get it. But the good news is, you absolutely do not have to be. Let's talk about some super simple tools that can have a massive impact. Seriously, you do not need fancy, expensive software or an accounting degree for this. We're talking Excel or Google Sheets, a simple budget or bookkeeping app. Heck, even a plain old notebook and a ruler will do the trick. The tool itself, it matters way less than the consistent habit of actually using it. And please, don't get overwhelmed trying to track 100 different things. That's a recipe for quitting. The key is to start simple. Just focus on 4 key things to begin with: income, expenses, cash flow, and savings. That's it. If you can master those 4, you'll have an incredibly powerful snapshot of your business's health. There's another great piece of wisdom, this time from Proverbs, that puts it perfectly. Be diligent to know the state of your flocks. And look, in our world today, your business is your flock. So knowing your numbers isn't just some dry business practice. It's a form of wise, responsible stewardship. So once you start using these simple tools and you do it consistently, something really profound starts to happen. You begin to move from that constant state of anxiety and into a place of real control. Let's really dig into what that transformation feels like. Here is a huge insight. For so many of us, the real stress doesn't actually come from failing. It comes from guessing. It's that constant, nagging uncertainty of not truly knowing where you stand that is just exhausting. Visual tracking comes in and just replaces all that guesswork with cold, hard facts. And look at this. This is what it looks like in practice. Watching a bar that represents debt get smaller and smaller quarter after quarter, that is an incredibly empowering feeling. It's tangible proof that your strategy is working. And this isn't just about income going up. Sometimes seeing those negative numbers go down is one of the most powerful confidence boosters you can get. And all of this leads to this amazing internal shift, this big aha moment. The second you see those charts moving in the right direction, that feeling of being stuck on a treadmill just melts away.
And it's replaced by this clear, undeniable knowledge that, hey, I'm making real, measurable progress here.
Okay, and this brings us to our final and maybe most crucial point. Because seeing your progress, it doesn't just make you feel good. It does something even more important. It actively reinforces the very habits that create more progress. It creates this amazing positive feedback loop. Think about it. When your progress is right there in front of you, discipline just gets easier. You're way less likely to make that impulsive buy when you can literally see how it's going to affect your savings goal. When you hit a slow month, you can look back at your past growth and stay motivated. And maybe most importantly, you learn to trust the process. You see that all those small, consistent efforts really are adding up. So when it's all said and done, it boils down to a simple, powerful rhythm. Step 1, write it down. You have to get all that financial chaos out of your head and put it somewhere you can actually see it clearly.
Step 2, track it simply. Seriously, resist that urge to overcomplicate everything. Pick a simple tool and just focus on those key metrics we talked about. Always remember, a simple system you actually use will always, always beat some complex thing you never touch.
And finally, step 3, review it regularly. Make it a habit. Set aside a little time each week or each month just to look at your charts. This simple rhythm, write it down, track it simply, review it regularly, that's how you stay in control. That's how you build a truly successful business.
And one last thing to remember, this is not about perfection. True faithfulness here isn't about having a perfect balance sheet every single month. It's about this simple, consistent discipline of just showing up and tracking your progress, the good and the bad. That is what it means to be a faithful steward of your business. So I'll just leave you with this one final thought. Once you've replaced all that guessing with seeing, and you've replaced that stress with control, you're not just managing your finances anymore, you are building a foundation of clarity and confidence. And my question for you is, when you have that foundation, what else becomes possible?